What happens when the life you've built on love and trust crumbles in a single night, exposed by the very people you call family? Elena stood at the edge of the living room, her fingers tightening around the stem of a wine glass. The family party was in full swing, laughter, clinking glasses, and the warm glow of fairy lights strung across the backyard. It was meant to be a celebration, a rare moment when her sprawling family gathered to mark her parents' 40th anniversary. She'd spent weeks planning, coordinating caterers, and decorating, all while balancing her role as a devoted wife to Mark and mother to their 2 children. But tonight, something felt off. Mark's smile was strained, his glances fleeting, and her family's whispers grew sharper as the evening wore on. She brushed it off, chalking it up to exhaustion. That is, until the front door swung open and a woman stepped inside. She was striking tall, with auburn hair cascading over a sleek red dress that screamed confidence. The room fell silent. Elena's heart stuttered. She didn't know this woman, but the way Mark froze, his face draining of color, told her everything. "Who is she?" Elena asked, her voice barely above a whisper, directed at her sister, Clara, who stood nearby. Clara's eyes darted away, her lips pressed into a thin line. The stranger sauntered forward, her heels clicking on the hardwood, and stopped beside Mark. She placed a possessive hand on his arm. "I'm Vanessa," she said, her voice smooth, almost mocking. "Mark's well, you know." The room spun. Elena's glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. The sound snapped her family out of their stupor, but instead of outrage or support, she saw something worse. Pity. Her mother stepped forward, her face a mask of discomfort. "Elena, darling, we need to talk." They led her to the study, away from the guests, away from Vanessa's triumphant smirk. Her parents, her siblings, even her cousins, they all knew. Mark had been having an affair for over a year, and Vanessa wasn't just a fling. She was the woman he planned to build a future with. Elena's family had known for months, had seen them together at dinners, vacations, events. They'd kept it from her, not out of kindness, but because they thought she'd handle it better later. "You were always so strong," her mother said, wringing her hands. "We thought you'd be fine, that you'd move on." "Move on?" Elena's voice cracked. "I'm his wife. This is my family. My life." Her brother, Tom, shifted uncomfortably. "Elena, we love you. But Mark said you were just a placeholder until he figured things out with Vanessa. We didn't want to hurt you." A placeholder. The word burned, searing through her chest. 20 years of marriage, 2 children, countless sacrifices reduced to a temporary stand-in. She looked at her family, the people she'd trusted most, and saw strangers. They'd chosen Mark's charm, his excuses, over her. They'd let her play the fool. Elena walked out of the study, past Vanessa, past Mark, and into the backyard. The fairy lights blurred through her tears. She sank onto a bench, the laughter from the party now a distant hum. How had it come to this? She'd given everything, her career, her dreams, her heart, to build a family, only to learn it was a house of cards. But something stirred in her. Anger, yes, but also clarity. She wasn't the weak link here. She'd held this family together, planned this party, raised her children with love. If they saw her as a placeholder, that was their failure, not hers. She wiped her tears, her resolve hardening. She wouldn't let their betrayal define her. The next morning, Elena sat her children down. She told them the truth, gently, promising they'd always be her priority. Then she called a lawyer. Mark could have Vanessa, but he wouldn't take her dignity. She began reclaiming her life, reaching out to old friends, reviving her passion for painting, applying for jobs she'd once set aside. Each step was small, but it was hers. Months later, at a gallery showcasing her art, Elena stood tall. Her children cheered as her paintings sold, their pride a balm to her wounds. Her family had tried to reach out, offering apologies, but she wasn't ready to forgive. Not yet. She'd learned a painful truth. Family isn't just blood, it's the people who choose you, who stand by you when the world cracks open. As she looked at her latest painting, a vibrant canvas of a woman rising from ashes, she smiled. She wasn't a placeholder. She was Elena, whole and unbroken, writing her own story.